alguna canción en español que les guste escuchar en su día a día?
I like there's a Ramstein song, and I'm not sure if I can say it, but I'm going to. Te quiero puta.
Yeah.
It's a fucking song. It's a Ramstein
It
song.
means please marry me.
Te quiero puta. Ay, qué rico. Look it up. Get your Spotify.
I did not know Anthony Starr listens to metal. I need a Homelander and Rammstein collab now. Please and thank you. As always, follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. So you already read the title. You probably even saw my podcast video and led you to this episode. But yes, we do have some Hispanic tea, and that's what we're going to be kicking off with. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this episode started. So here's the thing about me, and I already said that on this podcast. We talk about the thoughts of Lielers. And yes, I do have a lot of thoughts when it comes to this Hispanic tea. And I'm updating you because I feel like a lot of people need to listen to the moral of the story. And it's going to be at the very end once I finish this whole tea. So, for those that are not Hispanic or do not know what's been going on, especially in Spanish pop culture, there is a musician out there who writes, Hispanic music, or basically what they do is like corridos, all of that. His name is Cristian Nodal. Now, I've been following this whole shebang for quite some time because I used to work at a Spanish radio station where they would play his music. And not only that, some of it involving the other party, which we'll get into that in a bit. Recently, my TikTok feed has been filled up with a bunch of that tea that people have been talking about, to a point that I just say, you know what, fuck it, I'll keep up with it, since I've been keeping it up with since we were working at the radio station. And so the other person in particular that they're also talking about alongside with him is another artist by the name of Angela Aguilar. So the thing with her is that she is actually third, maybe fourth generation musician. So her dad is Pepe Aguilar, also known for making like Hispanic music. I don't know specifically the category. That's how you know I'm a little bit, ignorant when it comes to Hispanic music. But here's the thing. So her dad is Pepe Aguilar and his dad is Antonio Aguilar. He's like the other Vicente Fernandez. So you guys probably know who that is. And so because of her, a lot of media has been lurking about her personal life, just like, any other celebrity that's out there. So why is this a big ass deal about them two? I need to rewind you back to 2020, 2021. And basically, her and Cristian Nodal released a song called Dime Como Quieres, Tell Me How You Want It. And in that song, there's a lot of lyrics. And at that time, whenever the song came out, Angela Aguilar was 17 years old and Cristian Nodal was 21. So there's like a 5-year gap. And when people saw the music video, I think there were a little bit rumors that maybe potentially they could be dating. But in the song itself, Angela does mention her dad, because when Cristian would say, what if I bring you roses? What if I bring you this, and that? And she will always be like, whatever. But on one of them, she was like, either way, my dad's going to kick you out. So that's the song. And then afterwards, it's like, oh, it wasn't serious, whatever. Let's go ahead and see what happens with them. Next thing I know, this is when I was working at the radio station. During that time, I found out Cristian Nodal was dating a singer named Belinda. And Belinda has been in the music industry since I was a kid. That's how long it's been. So she is a little bit older than Cristian Nodal. And they met while they were working together in The Voice, but, in Spanish mode, La Voz, back in 2020. And then they announced their engagement afterwards. So it was pretty serious. But then, next thing I know, they broke off back in 2022. And everybody was talking about it because I think the biggest thing about the whole relationship was that Cristian Nodal actually tattooed Belinda's eyes on his chest. And it's like, okay, so maybe it was about Belinda. A lot of people started hating on her and probably thought that the reason why she was with him was for the money because he was a successful musician. But in reality, she released a song called Cactus and she was talking shit about him. And on one of the lyrics, she did say, if only they knew how you treated me. And I'm like, oh. And we'll get into that. So they separated, right? You know, engagement is off and whatnot. They really didn't comment it on what was the reason why. And even Cristian Nodal was saying that he didn't want to talk about it. Now, there were a lot of rumors and speculation, meaning that he found somebody else. But again, there were two different sides on this whole situation. People were blaming Belinda, people were blaming Nodal. But the thing is that the speculation was that Cristian Nodal ended up finding somebody else to have a kid with, because apparently it wasn't happening with Belinda, and that's why people were hating on her, meaning that maybe she didn't want to have kids, and you know, Nodal was trying to find something serious where he can settle down, so he's gonna go find somebody else. Literally a couple of months later, because they split in November 2022, and then we're already in 2023 saying that, oh, now he started dating this artist called Kazoo, and I never heard of her until then. But yes, she is a Argentina artist, and so when they started dating, all of a sudden, boom, Kazoo got pregnant. And that's where people were still hating on Belinda, and that's when she released her song Cactus. And you know, again, when you watch the whole music video and listen to the lyrics, of course I mentioned one, when you watch the music video, it literally says probably that she did get pregnant, except she suffered a miscarriage. And maybe that's why Nodal ended up leaving Belinda. Again, no confirmations on that. Same thing again on the lyrics itself for the song. She even did say, like, what was the whole point of you tattooing my eyes if you were just gonna cover it up? So there's that. She literally just talked shit about him. But people still weren't convinced that Nodal was the villain of the story. Anywho, back to Kazoo. So Kazoo gets pregnant, and now it was more like, okay, are they even gonna get married? This, and that. But it will make sense if they do get married, it'll be after the birth of their child. And Inti, that's her name, she was born in September 2023. It's crazy to think about how a lot of things can happen in the span of a year, because in Cristian Nodal's case, 1 year he's over there happy with Belinda, and then the next year, boom, he's having a kid with a whole different woman. Yeah. So anywho, Inti was born, and literally a couple months later, after the birth, Kazoo and Nodal announced their separation, you know, whatever. They broke up, and next thing you know, the same thing happened again. Everybody, I guess, fans or no fans of Nodal, started hating on Kazoo. Why? I have no idea. And Cristian Nodal actually even posted on social media for everybody to chill the fuck out with the hate comments towards Kazoo. And he mentions her by name. Her name is Julieta, and he's over there saying how much he loves her, appreciates her, and that he's still gonna be there because regardless, she is his baby mama. But then everybody started wondering, you know, a little bit instigation going on. Why did they break up in a span of a couple of months? Like, maybe some people started opening their eyes and trying to see who Nodal really is. And then afterwards, they started speculating, oh my god, he probably ended up hooking up with Angela Aguilar. And the reason why people were speculating was because Angela started showing up with what looked like Cristian Nodal's necklace. There's a necklace that he tends to wear most of the time, and it's like a simple cross and whatnot. It's like his signature look. And all of a sudden, he's not wearing it. It started appearing on Angela's neck, and everybody was like, hold up. And all of this was happening literally in a couple of weeks. I'm talking like since Kazoo and Nodal broke up, which was on May 23 of this year, all up until the beginning of this month, because next thing we know, of course, Cristian Nodal and Angela Aguilar confirmed their relationship. And I think this was last week already? My thing is that when they confirmed it, oh my god, here we go again. Everybody started hating on Angela Aguilar. Of course, now it was more like in defense for Casu and Belinda, but mostly for Casu because at the end of the day, she still has a kid to take care of. Like, I get it. You know, people were hating on Angela because, hey, you should know better by now not to mess with somebody that already has a kid. That's basically a Mexican norm at this point. But my thing is that it's not her fault that she wrecked a home. There wasn't even a home to wreck because Nodal already wrecked it. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get to with this whole situation. Here's the other shitty thing that people were calling Angela Aguilar. So basically, the hashtag Angela Panini started going everywhere on social media. And I know that Chisme or Tea as well because I've been watching the show called Las Lavanderas. So to give you a little bit background of why they're calling her, you know, Angela Panini. They're referencing a woman in Mexico as well, which her name is Carla Panini. The story about her, and it started surfacing again on TikTok, where now this woman is being hated worldwide. Literally, she doesn't care. I'll tell you that straight up. She loves the attention. She loves that you guys are talking about her, making her relevant. I'm talking about her because I'm giving you guys a background of her. And yes, I have seen that social media of hers. And yes, she does respond to a lot of hate comments. So there's that. But she doesn't care. Anywho. So basically her story was that, you know, she was doing the show called Las Lavanderas. It was very entertaining, very funny. Alongside with her was her former best friend, Carla Luna. Yeah, they both have the same names. But the thing is that we found out that Carla Luna got diagnosed with cancer. And while that was happening, Carla Panini was over there messing with Carla Luna's husband. Yes, and they have kids together, just so y'all know. Same thing with Carla Panini. I think she was married and she also has kids as well. But she was hooking up with the husband of her so-called best friend. And everybody started, you know, hating about the whole situation. But here comes even worse. The woman had cancer. That's what I'm trying to get with y'all. She had cancer and this person ends up doing her worst. And Carla Luna, you know, at the end of the day, she was like, fuck it, he wasn't for me. Either way, what's the point? I'm gonna die soon. So she's trying to do her best on her last moments on earth. With that being said, why is this woman is still being hated on? Because she still talks shit about Carla Luna. She's no longer here with us. She passed away a long time ago. And they're still hating on her. Like, that's even bitter. So obviously you can understand why a lot of Hispanics hate this person and now are throwing that last name to Angela Aguilar. Which, again, I'm not defending this woman. I mean, yeah, she's 20. She has every right to do what she wants. I think what people do not understand is that she is freaking young and naive. I think everybody can probably think back in their early 20s and probably doing some hood rat shit. I've done it. Not proud of it, but hey, it happened. And I can see a bunch of 20-year-olds right now doing the same hood rat shit, except minus the fame. So, with that being said, obviously, you know, Angela doing this does not give her a good reputation whatsoever. Obviously, it's damaging her career. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people that are still supporting the whole situation because, hey, it's love, you know, whatever, they met a long time ago. Now they're making it serious, this, and that. But for me, it's more like, wait a second. You guys are still missing the fucking big picture. It's not her own damn fault. It's actually Cristian Nodal's fault. Because, again, he went to 3 different women in a span of, 2 years? You know, Belinda was 2022, Casu was 2023, boom, Angela Aguilar is 2024. And obviously, you know, there is a more of the story, but hang on, let me get there in a bit. Everybody was more concerned about Angela's dad because, again, how I mentioned earlier, he is also a famous singer. And everybody's over there trying to locate him, like, where is he? Where's Don Pepe? That's what I keep hearing. But he was over there in Japan. And all of a sudden, Homeboy's TikTok page started showing up on my For You page. And I even said, like, on the comment section, like, I've been having a TikTok account for 4 years. And now TikTok wants to show me this guy's For You page thanks to the fucking Chisme. But the comment section was going nuts about it, saying, like, hey, Don Pepe, do you know what your daughter's doing? This, and that. Homeboy literally trolled us, by the way, because when he came back from his trip, he's over there recording a video. I don't know if it was recorded or it was probably like an Instagram live, because I saw the recorded cut version on TikTok, but then on Instagram I see the live version. And he was over there waiting for a lot of people to join in on the Instagram live, and he was like, you know what, 30,000 chismosos, whatever. And so he's like, all right, this is what I gotta say. And then all of a sudden the video just cuts off, and I'm like, this boy is trolling us. What the obviously he knows. And because we are making our own assumptions, especially negative assumptions, we don't know what's really happening behind the scenes. Okay, maybe Cristian Nodal, sure, yeah, he has been having some bad luck with women, and Pepe Aguilar just doesn't care, because at the end of the day, his girl is already grown up. He has no control over her. He doesn't live with her. You know, she is 20. She lives, in California probably, and he lives in Mexico. So I don't know what the real situation is, but again, it's not for Pepe or even, the mom, Angela Aguilar's mom. It's none of their business. Angela can do whatever she pleases. But back to this whole situation. Even Kazoo responded on social media. She posted a story of a picture of her and her baby, obviously looking like, Cristian Nodal. But on there, she did say that she appreciates the concerns. However, she is taking a break from social media to detox. And obviously, I'm assuming because of all the toxic comments that she's either getting or hearing, because at the end of the day, people are trash. But still, if I were to put myself in her shoes, the way how I see it, it's like she was probably in the stage of healing, from a relationship, obviously, only for a shit ton of people just to remind her of a failing relationship. I think that's what she means by that. And she has every right to stay away from social media because of it. I wish other people can just think about it, because I said it before. Celebrities are fucking human like us. They go through shit like we go through shit. And it's funny because I'm going through it. I've been saying I've been going through it, and I've been really going through it. But this is a really good eye-opener in my situation, and I'm not going to say why. If you have a TikTok account, I actually talk about it a long time ago. But my thing is that it makes me feel happy that, again, I don't like this whole situation that's happening, obviously. But I'm happy that it's a big eye-opener. It's a learning lesson to me, and it's a big motivation for me. And I think it should be a big motivation for everybody that's going to something similar. And what do I mean by this? I'll get to it. But I just want people to see that Nodal is literally the villain of the story. Literally, he is a piece of trash for, again, moving from women to women. Why do I say that? Here is the moral of the story. Those who move on to a new person quick, especially during the rebound stage, will always have failing relationships. And if you do that because you don't know how to be single to work on yourself, you got some fucking issues. And my thing is that, I said it, I'm not really gonna go deep into my shit, but again, I'm just happy to see that I am staying single to work on myself. That's what I love, because I'm not over there like other pieces of trash who quickly move on into a relationship. I've been through it. I've been through the point where literally, and it's 3 fucking guys in my life that, treated me like shit. But I feel like because I didn't take the opportunity to work on my own issues, obviously I decided to move on to somebody quick, and then boom, I get hurt, and now we're going through that whole same situation. But this time I decided to pull the brakes and say, you know what? No, fuck it. What is wrong with me? What is it that I need to work on myself? And you know what? If I'm in the stage, especially the rebound stage, where I want somebody to talk to right then and there, I'm not helping myself to heal from a relationship that could have been something, but at the same time it failed for other reasons. It could have been me, it could have been the other person, but also it's a learning lesson, because I need to figure out what is it that I want in a relationship. And in order for it to be successful, I need to sit down and think about what is it that I really want. And that's the thing about this whole situation between Cristian Nodal and his women. Homeboy needs to sit down and figure out what he wanted. So what we see with Belinda, he wanted a marriage, maybe a family, who knows? But Belinda had a miscarriage and he decided to go find somebody else that can give him a kid. Boom, Casu happened. And maybe Casu didn't get married. Who knows what the fuck happened? But because she was the fucking rebound, he didn't really love her. And that's what I hate. Fucking rebound relationships are not it. What hurts even more is that I don't know if he manipulated Casu, you know, probably even giving that false promise that he was gonna give her the world just because they're, you know, having a baby and she was the one, this and that. He literally hurt Casu. I feel for her, obviously, but the thing is that they brought a kid into this world and Nodal still doesn't know what the fuck he wants. And what does he do? He leaves her for somebody else. Obviously somebody younger, and I think that's everybody's worst fear. But it's somebody that, you know, again, fresh. Doesn't really maybe know him that well, but should at the same time. But this person is even worse than Nodal because, again, she is blind in love. And I think we've seen it before where people are so in love that they don't know the situation that they're in until they get out of it. So who knows how this relationship is gonna last. Obviously everybody's already wishing karma on them, wishing for their downfall, this and that. Me, however, I have no hopes this relationship is gonna last. I don't think Angela is the rebound for Casu because at the end of the day, I think Nodal just found out, wait a second, I don't love this woman. But then again, there's a kid involved, so that's even worse. And I think for people that are going in that same situation where they got left for a rebound, trust me, honey, it ain't gonna work. And I don't care about this whole like, oh, but they're married, they're having a kid, this and that. Trust me, honey, it ain't gonna work. In other words, be happy that you're not gonna be in that same situation. I've seen so many people getting divorced, and I think that's one of the biggest things. Hell, you're probably coming from a divorced family or, you know, worse. But at the end of the day, it's either fate, destiny, God, whatever the hell you want to think, that is pulling you away from what could potentially ruin your life, you know. With what's happening with Casu, you know, at this point, if you think about it, Belinda got lucky because she didn't have a kid with Nodal. If she did, she would have been like Casu. And I'm pretty sure she was obviously hurt because they were, you know, engaged, gonna get married, this and that. But it didn't happen. And Belinda didn't deserve that. Maybe potentially her journey's still going. But with Casu, it happened. Why? Who knows? Maybe she's getting karma from something she did and this is her karma right here. But at the same time, it's kind of bad because there's a kid involved. And I hate that when there's a kid involved, the kid doesn't deserve the damage. You know, obviously that's how we grew up all fucked up, you know, because our parents didn't know how to say no to a toxic relationship. And I get it, like in Hispanic world, a lot of people joke around saying I have a toxic girlfriend and a toxic boyfriend. But if it's too toxic, yeah, it ain't it. This whole tea like really got me thinking, and it's probably, again, like how I mentioned, it's a good eye opener for me because it makes me see things differently and be grateful that I'm not in that situation. If it does happen, sweet Jesus, I probably did something wrong. But that's why I am waiting to see if potentially, you know, I do find somebody that meets expectations, I guess. I don't know. I say that because I know what I want. And right now I'm working on being better. And if I do happen to find somebody that, you know, might be toxic, I'm praying and hoping I see the red flag sooner and get myself out of there. But I feel like, you know, with Destiny, and I've heard stories everywhere, especially John Cena's case. I think that was my big motivation too. When you know you find the one is when you're not looking for it. And that's how I'm seeing things. Obviously, you have to be in the perfect spot, meaning place and time. And all of a sudden, just when you're not thinking about it, boom, your person that you're meant to be with, your soulmate, just pops out of nowhere. And people tell the story like, oh, I wasn't supposed to be here, God knows what. And we'll see. But right now, because I'm always thinking about it, I'm never gonna find them. I do have to snap out of it soon because if my soulmate is out there and I'm over here expecting him, I'm pretty sure he's not gonna show up. So there's that. But that's the Hispanic tea that I have for you guys, and I'm hoping that this motivates you to work on yourself. If you're having relationship problems, maybe you do need to put some brakes on it and do that whole, what do they call it? The no contact period. Trust me, it works when it's supposed to. If you really love someone and they need help, it's okay to have some no contact because they need to work on themselves. And that's the thing. You get to really understand the person even more if they're willing to work on the relationship. Meaning that if there's no contact, but they decide to go find somebody else, that means that person's a fucking coward and doesn't want to even work on a relationship. And that person is damn well not for you. But if it's the other way around, where there's no contact and they're actually working on themselves, and all of a sudden, okay, let's go ahead and talk about our issues and let's see where we can grow, what we need to fix, this and that. And if they're willing to put the work, they're the ones for you. Honestly, we love it when people actually put effort in a relationship and not just have somebody on the side whenever they feel lonely. That's right. Know your worth, people. That's your moral as well. Now, let's go ahead and get this episode started with movies. Yeah, we got a shit ton of pop culture stuff to talk about. So, I know it's a really drastic shift, but that's the thing about this episode. We get to talk about whatever the fuck we want. So, anywho, let me go ahead and talk about an unrecognizable Daniel Craig. And yes, we are still talking about a Knives Out mystery with Wake Up Dead Man. So the image that we get to see is literally Daniel Craig in this long white hair. They put the image in black and white, so I can't tell if it's, white hair or blonde hair. But I love it when I went to the comments that somebody did compare it to Woody Harrelson's Hamish Abernathy in the Hunger Games. And I can see that comparison. Now I can unsee it. Oh God. And this one is for the Swifties. So there has been rumors supposedly that Taylor Swift might show up in the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie only because he's besties with Blake Lively and maybe Ryan Reynolds. But she did confirm that she will not make any appearance in the movie. And honestly, if I think about it, if she was to appear, this movie would have done way better in the box office if she did. If you think about it, maybe this movie could have hit 1 billion. Oh my God, if it hits 1 billion without her, that'd be amazing. But anywho, for Adventure Time fans, listen up. The series is getting a movie and 2 new spin-off series. I tried watching the series, but for some reason, Cosmo doesn't like cartoons. And yes, that includes Bluey as well. She tends to bark like there's no tomorrow. If it's not Friends, she's not gonna watch it. Or, Yellowstone as well. Anywho, let's move it along. I think Disney was running out of ideas when it comes to live action films. Because I knew, and I just haven't talked about it, but Moana is having a live action movie. And we already knew that Dwayne Johnson was gonna come as Maui because, he voices the character. But now they have announced that Catherine Lagai, I think I'm pronouncing it right, she will be the one that will be portraying Moana herself. At the same time, I'm like, I still need to watch the animated series. I don't know how it's gonna go for the live action, but I have heard that when it comes to making animated movies into live actions, they tend not to do so well. I'm still confused how Lion King did make it though, because I went to go watch it and I was not a fan of it, but still. Anywho, since we're already talking about Disney, I don't know if you guys know, but I canceled my Disney Plus subscription. But I did find out that you can actually watch the first 7 Saw movies thanks to Hulu. And I literally love the first comment that I got to see on the post on Instagram that said, quote, "Your final challenge, make your kids watch Saw through Disney Plus." And unfortunately, that's all I have for you guys on the movies category. Let's go ahead and move it along on television. And I'm gonna go ahead and start it off with sad news. And I hate announcing doggy deaths, but this was on my Instagram page and I'm like, you know what? I do have to talk about this. So if you guys did continue watching The Walking Dead, there was a companion of Daryl's who happens to be a dog, and he goes by the name of Seven. So they just announced that poor Seven actually passed away, and now I'm sad. So RIP to Seven. Say hello to my oldest dog up there in doggy heaven. Even more sad news, and this is going for The Boys franchise. Oh yeah, I know you were expecting good news. But the showrunner, Eric Kripke, I think that's how you pronounce it, announced that season 5 will be the show's final season. I mean, at the same time, I think about it, it's good. As much as I want this show to continue, it is best to end it on a good note than prolong it and ruin the series. I've talked about this in so many other series, and think of it like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. They ended in a hurrah. So who knows what could potentially lead to the series finale? Will we see the death of Homelander? Dun, dun, dun. And speaking of which, the first 3 episodes of season 4 are now available. And yes, I have already watched all 3 of them. The new episodes will come out on Thursdays, with the season finale appearing on July 18. I will say they do give you guys a great recap of season 3 without you having to rewatch all of them. And honestly, you don't need to watch Gen B, the spin-off series, to understand everything. So definitely go watch it, check it out. I highly recommend it because the first episode does start off in a bang. Hilarious and everything. And since we're already talking about more series, let's talk about House of the Dragon. So they got some good news. They actually got renewed for season 3, even though a lot of people are not fans of the spin-off series. Even more negative responses came when people were complaining that the next season won't come out until probably 2026 or later. For once, maybe we will get GTA 6 before House of the Dragon season 3. All I'm saying. And since we're already talking about the show, lots of places show which side they were on by displaying these massive banners. If you guys were to see, like for example, the Brooklyn Bridge, they had the green Targaryen banner, while the Chapultepec Castle in Mexico had the black and red Targaryen banner. With that being said, do not forget season 2 of the House of the Dragon is premiering tonight on Max. And you best believe we're going to talk about it next week. In other television news, there is a Blade Runner 2099 series in the works, and both Hunter Shafir in Euphoria and Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh will be starring in. I don't know if this is going to be a prequel or a sequel to the movie, who knows, but stay tuned for more news on that. And the last thing I have for you guys in this category is that James Gunn announces that the new DCU will kick off in December with the animated show Creatures Commandos premiering. So I cannot wait to see what he has in store, and I'm hoping that it will be much better than the previous DC universe that we had. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on with music, starting off with Corey Taylor. So Corey Taylor had to cancel his shows in the Czech Republic and Austria. He made 2 posts. I literally had to screenshot them just in case if he was gonna delete them. I'm kind of traumatized with everything that's been going on with Slipknot. But anywho, on the post itself, the first one was addressed to the Czech Republic, where he says, "I am sorry to say that I woke up very sick today, and as a result of this, I will not be able to perform at Rock for People Festival. The health and safety of my band and crew is always our first priority on the road, and I do not want to cause further issues by trying to perform today. I am truly sorry to everyone who was looking forward to this performance at Rock for People, and I promise I will return and make it up to you." Of course, a lot of fans were not happy, but then there was this one comment that I read, and it said, quote, "I'm not even in Czech. Why did I get upset?" And me, honestly, same. But I'm not even going to the concert, so there's that. Now, the next post, it was addressed to Austria, where it says, "Due to ongoing sickness, I will be canceling my performance at Nova Rock Festival tomorrow. I am deeply sorry to have to cancel another performance, but my priority remains keeping our band and crew healthy while doing everything I can to rest and heal. I hope to see my Austrian friends again very soon when I can give them the performance they deserve. I am concerned for his health, obviously. I'm hoping it's not Rona. I mean, I know Rona's still lurking around. I actually saw a post on TikTok where somebody was like, it's shitty enough to get COVID this time around when not everybody's getting it. And yeah, you know, I'm hoping it's not that. And, you know, we just want to say, get better, King. You're going to be back in no time. But that's all I got to say about Corey Taylor. Let's go ahead and talk about Riot Fest. So they just announced their lineup, and sweet Jesus, it is packed. So it's going to be a 3-day event from September 20th to the 22nd, and it's going to be at the SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeville, Illinois. And obviously the headliner is so big and everything. It's going to be Fall Out Boy, which I'm not surprised because they are from Illinois. Beck, Slayer, St. Vincent, The Offspring, Rob Zombie, Public Enemy, and I cannot read the rest. But yeah, there's a bunch of people in there. Definitely go check it out. I'm not going to name all the bands that are in here because there's a lot. But yeah, definitely go check it out if you guys are planning to attend. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about. It's rare that I'm putting it on the music category, but at the same time, it's Keanu Reeves. So I found out Keanu Reeves is a Baby Metal fan. Why? Because Baby Metal posted a picture of my boy holding the Fox God Crew shirt, and I think it's their crew. And I'm over here like, oh. I mean, all I want to see is this man headbanging a Gimme Chocolate at this point. Somebody record it, please and thank you. In other news, and the last thing I have for you guys is that Alter Bridge frontman Miles Kennedy announced a new solo album called The Art of Letting Go. What is this message? Which is going to be released on October 11. Is it because Creed's on tour? They tend to do this, so definitely stay tuned when the album does come out. So there's that. Anywho, let's go ahead and move on to the gaming category. I have 4 things, and one of them is fucking Fortnite. Why? Metallica's collaborating with Fortnite. What the fuck is going on? Literally, like, come on. So supposedly they will be on Fortnite Festival. Like, what the fuck? just know I hate Fortnite. I guess I'm gonna have to check it out. Also, update on that. Apparently my Joy-Con, I don't know how, but it got destroyed. So I don't think I'm gonna be playing anytime soon when it comes to the Switch. But just for Fortnite, I'll probably have to update it on my Xbox and then potentially check it out. But anywho, speaking of Xbox, so they actually posted on their website that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be taking up approximately 309.85 gigabytes, making this one of the largest games to download. It is also stated that the single player campaign requires a constant internet connection, which is going to be a first in the Call of Duty series for a console. I think this is one of the reasons why I'm not playing this game whatsoever, because the internet here, it might not be it. In other news, apparently the release date for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater has potentially been leaked on a tweet from GameStop, and it looks like it will be released on November 17. So stay tuned for those that are interested in the game. Again, I mentioned last week, I'm probably not gonna get it because I'm not good at sneaky games, so there's that. Lastly, the other thing I forgot to tell you guys last week, that Blumhouse decided to launch Blumhouse Games, and this will focus on releasing horror video games. I guess as long as they don't butcher the games like they butcher the movies, I think we'll be fine. And that was it for the gaming category. Let's go ahead and talk about wrestling before wrapping the episode up. So Asuka posted on social media an update about her injury, and it is definitely real than what we've seen with Rhea Ripley. So the video shows herself on a wheelchair, and on her right knee she is in a cast. And so all I gotta say about that is get well soon, Asuka, because I know you can bring it, and maybe potentially in the SmackDown roster. So there's that. Now, I really need to talk about WWE Raw. In particular, is basically leading off to the end of the program. And basically, it starts off with Ricochet literally looking like, you know, he may leave the company. And I talked about this in my last week's episode. The rumor is that he didn't renew his contract, maybe potentially going to AEW. So who knows? He shows up whenever he was trying to rescue Ilja Dragunov being attacked by Braun Breaker. and all of a sudden it leads off to a fight like away from the ring. And all of a sudden, Braun Breaker picks up Ricochet and just smashing his body on top of a windshield. Now, I don't know if this was real because that car looked pretty real to me. Ain't no way that windshield was plexiglass. Wow, But anywho, because of that, obviously the ambulance came in, they take Ricochet to the point that even Samantha Irving started running towards backstage to get in the ambulance with Ricochet, and off they go. And it was funny too because when she left, all of us were wondering, wait, who's gonna announce the last match? Because that's what she does. And I was not expecting Pat McAfee to pick up the pieces. Literally, I'm over here dying because of the way how he announced Drew McIntyre and Finn Balor for that match. So he calls Drew McIntyre, quote, a big handsome bastard from Scotland. And even Drew reposted that video and said, at this point, I just want people to call me that for now on. Finn Balor's entrance had me cracking because Pat McAfee was like, quote, from the bum-ass Judgment Day out of Bray County, Wicklow, Ireland, with 0% body fat on a 225-pound frame. Finn Balor. I'm like, oh my god. I don't know how this man managed to do that with a straight face. I would not be able to contain myself. But then again, once he did that, everybody started cheering for Pat McAfee to be an announcer every once in a while because we needed that, honestly. As much as I love Samantha Irving, at this point I'm like, homegirl, take all the vacation you need because obviously you deserve it, but also Pat got you covered on Raw. Now I want to talk about NXT Battlegrounds, so let's get to it. Last week I had my predictions. This week we're finally clearing the air of what really happened if you guys weren't able to check it out. The first match of the show was actually crowning the new NXT North American Women's Championship, which went to Kalani Jordan, even though I wanted Sol Ruka to win. But it made sense why Kalani won, and I talked about this before. So she was the NXT Breakout Superstar. Makes sense why she should be the first one. But then again, it's not fair for those that have been in the company for a bit already, so I don't know. But at the same time, congratulations to her. She already made history, so hats off. The other match that was also there was Axiom and Nathan Frazier retaining their tag team titles against the Good Brothers, which is kind of a bummer. But then again, they do need to put their focus back on SmackDown because there's no point of them being on NXT. And it also looks like Nathan Frazier wants to go back to singles competition because he kept eyeing on the Heritage Cup on this past NXT show, and this could also lead to some conflict between him and Axiom, so stay tuned just in case. The other match was Lola Vice versus Shayna Baszler, which Lola actually defeated Shayna, and it was no surprise again. However, they did kind of give a shout out to Ronda Rousey and Marina Shafir, which Shayna is BFFs with. And the reason why they shouted them out is because there was a picture of them hanging at the UFC Apex Arena, so there's that. The other match was with Obafemi actually retaining his title on a triple threat match, which was no surprise there. I'm not going to talk about it. The next one was Roxanne Perez going up against Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. And last week I already knew my prediction was going to come true. Roxanne ended up winning because, again, it wouldn't make sense for a TNA Knockouts champion defeating an NXT Women's Champion just for that title. What surprised me even more was that there was interference from another wrestler, Tatum Paxley, and looking like she wanted to take Jordan's title. And this led off to a TNA episode that happened, yesterday? Tatum showed up accepting an open challenge, and everybody's like, wait a second. Does this confirm that there is a collaboration between WWE and TNA? Holy shit, what is going on? Because last time I checked, TNA had a collaboration with AEW. I don't even know at this point. But anywho, the last match that happened at NXT Battleground was obviously Trick Williams going up against Ethan Page. and that was for the NXT Championship. But also, if Ethan were to win, that means Trick Williams is gone from NXT. However, that was not the case, and Trick Williams ended up defeating Ethan Page and still retaining that championship. Since we're already talking about NXT, I really need to talk about this past Tuesday's episode. Why? Because Cody Rhodes did make the announcement that he was going to make an appearance, which he did. But I was not expecting for him to have a little mini reunion with Shawn Spears, Lexis King, and Ethan Page. What do you mean by that? Well, if you think about it, at one point, they were all in AEW and they had that little mini segment. And it started off with Cody going up to Shawn Spears saying, "Looks like you're in a good company." I'm like, boy, please. Like, come on. Who are you kidding? And then next thing I know, they took a picture of everybody just pointing at each other, Spider-Man style. The comment section, I swear, of this photo, everybody was talking about AEW. Like, one person did point out that if CM Punk was in that picture, it would have been like the cherry on top. In other words, like, Tony Khan would have been fuming and making something crazy on AEW the following Wednesday. But oh well. Another thing I also wanted to talk about is that Cody Rhodes is now a certified homie because Trick Williams invited him to the barbecue. And I'm over here like, hold up, did no one invited Cody Rhodes to the carne asada? Like, how dare y'all? But then again, if I think about it, okay, I don't know if people from Mexico are listening. I want to say no. But whatever, I'm going to start spreading the word out. Because I know WWE is having a super show in July in Mexico City. I didn't realize this, and it was funny too, because when I was watching my blog video, I was like, wait a second, why is there a WWE bus over there? And I had to pause it. And it was when I was in Xochimilco. So if y'all want to check it out again, go watch my blog video from Mexico. And it did say that they were going to be there, and they started, promoting it on social media. But when they do go there, and if Cody Rhodes is there, somebody invite Cody Rhodes to the carne asada, please and thank you. I feel like he will finish the story right then and there. Not only being invited to the cookout, but he's also going to be invited to the carne asada. What more can you want? Yeah, there's a difference, just so y'all know. Also, the other thing I wanted to point out in NXT, I don't know why, but I am not feeling the Wendy Chu coming back with this dark, sleepy gimmick. But I guess whatever works for her. Anywho, other things I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you guys know, but Drew McIntyre actually posted a video with him talking to Billy Corgan. And if you guys do not know who that is, obviously not only he's the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, which he says that on the video, but let's not forget, he is also the owner of NWA, also known as the National Wrestling Alliance. Does this mean that WWE is also trying to collaborate with them too? What is going on? As long as it's collaboration and not, buying them out. So, anywho. The last thing I also wanted to talk about is Clash at the Castle. We have some thoughts. Obviously, this premium live event was literally yesterday in Scotland. And I'm not gonna lie, the crowd was nothing compared to France. Even WWE gave the crowd a chance to bring the loudness, but it was only during those moments. That's it. It wasn't it. They even started comparing like the loud meter, like how loud are they? And I'm like, I guess. Whatever you guys want to do to convince us that they were loud, but for me, it wasn't it. Papa H did say in the press conference that WWE will be back to Scotland and wherever the company or even Netflix wants them to go. A lot of people were saying hopefully Italy next time. Who knows? We'll see. I can't help but to notice that this event only had 5 matches and they were all lousy, but I guess. I honestly thought that they were going to add more matches to it, but no. I'm kind of disappointed in it, but oh well. The first match of this event was Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the WWE Undisputed Championship. The match did started good, but I was expecting a little bit more since they were crazy for the promo, making it seem like Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I will admit, I did not like the way how the match ended. Why? Because the way how AJ said I quit was kind of lame. He was just like, I quit, that's it. I was expecting more like a brutal blow where AJ could no longer stand. and he would say like he will quit, but like very faintly, like he's struggling, but whatever. I guess I rate that match 3 out of 10. Anywho, the next match was Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn for the Women's Tag Team Championship. I know I said on the last week's episode that I thought Bianca and Jade were gonna win, but then I realized something and I'm like, wait a second, I kind of not saw the picture right. So I figured that this was the only match that Scotland can actually get a win. Why? Because we already knew the other 2 matches, Piper and Drew were not going to win. And then I was like, but how would they win? And I was literally explaining to my dad, the only way Alba Fire and Isla Dawn will win. And the reason why I say them is because they're both from Scotland. And I'm saying this, I'm like, well, technically speaking, since it's a triple threat match, they don't even have to pin the championships to become champions. The only way to win is if they pin either Shayna or Zoe. And as soon as I said that, what happened? Well, apparently they got the pin and they became the new tag team champions. And yeah, people from Scotland were excited, but again, it was like, meh. And as they were winning, Michael Cole actually mentioned something that I didn't know what was happening. So Alba Fire recently lost her mom, so she wasn't really able to celebrate this moment with her, or for her to be able to see this achievement for her own daughter. And so she cried, and I was like, I didn't know at first why she was crying until I went on social media and tried to figure out what was going on. So it's kind of sad. But with them winning the championships, it would be really messed up if Bianca and Jade take those titles away from them literally either Monday or Friday coming up, and they only did this whole shebang just for Scotland to be happy. But then again, I mean, they were pissed afterwards, and we're gonna get to that in a bit. But let's go ahead and move it along to the next match, which was Bayley versus Piper Niven for the WWE Women's Championship. I know I said it, I'm gonna say it again. We knew Bayley was going to win. And even the crowd was still serenading her and still not giving any attention to Piper, so kind of sad. But let's go ahead and move it along on that one. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Sami retained. That's all I gotta say. The last match was Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I'm kind of sad that we did not get Broken Dreams. They did that last year, but they didn't do it this year, so I guess. I will admit though, I know I said the crowd was pretty dead like throughout the whole live event, but when Drew came out, then it started getting interesting. And I'm like, ya se ponieron las pilas. I'm like, now they're finally awake and everything. So you can obviously tell that Drew was the favorite for the match, obviously, because, he's from Scotland. I want to say, I think fans assumed that because Drew didn't win last year, he might potentially win this year because it is in Scotland. And, if you look back at Elimination Chamber, it took place in Australia. They literally let Rhea retain the championship, have her moment and everything, while she's in her home country. So maybe people from Scotland thought that maybe Drew will finally get his opportunity. But at the same time, I've been watching wrestling for quite some time. Even I knew that was not going to happen. And you heard my prediction from last week, but I'll say it again in case if you didn't listen to it. I already knew Drew was not going to win. Why? Because he has this feud with CM Punk. And I believe this will be happening in SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is literally going to be in August, so it's coming up. But before I get into that too, I was watching the match and I could not help but to notice the botch that happened. I think everybody was talking about it, where Damian got his leg tangled up on one of the ropes, and obviously Drew still had to keep the momentum going and still hitting him while the ref was trying to untangle Damian. And afterwards, you can't help but to notice that Damian was limping, and a lot of us were kind of concerned. And so while the match was still going, I missed the part where the ref was knocked down and we needed a ref right then and there. CM Punk comes out of nowhere and he stops at the 2 count. Even though Damian could easily just kicked out, he didn't kick out. He would have easily just lost the belt. But because CM Punk was there, he stopped at 2 and he just said, hey, it's 2, even though he didn't kick out, you know. And you can hear all the fans chanting CM Punk. But when it was time for Damian to retain his championship, that's when the boo started happening. The crowd was livid. Drew was livid. Damian ended up retaining and the show ended. I actually got to hear a clip where Samantha Urban, she came back and everything, was saying, you know, thank you everybody from Scotland. But then she had to say, I know the show didn't end it the way how you wanted it to. It fueled the crowd even more, and even people that didn't attend the event posted on the comment section like, Sam, just shut up and stay at announcing. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, yeah, I get it. If I was a ring announcer, I would have just said thanks and that's it. I would not have added that other comment, but I don't know. During the press conference, Triple H did look worried that Damian may potentially be injured. Damian did came out and he was telling everybody, you know, at the press conference that he's fine, he's okay. But when it was time for Triple H's turn, he did say, like, adrenaline can easily make you feel like you're okay. But once it wears off, that's where it starts coming. So, you know, he came straight to the press conference, you know, Damian as well. So they haven't had the opportunity to go to medical and get it checked. But, you know, obviously by now it has been checked. And who knows what's going to happen on Monday. All I'm saying is if Damian leaves, I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. Because remember, Gunther is set to go up against the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, whoever it is. But I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions from there. So we'll see what's going to happen. And we'll definitely going to be talking about it next week. But with that being said, that wraps up this week's episode. We definitely had an interesting episode. We had Hispanic Chisme, and then the rest was entertainment updates. So there's that. Make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also don't forget to follow my TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. I do have an update for me, but I'm like, I really want to tell you guys so bad what's going on with me. But stay tuned. I just know, keep your eyes on social media in the next coming weeks. I'm praying and hoping what's going to happen with me happens. And it's good, by the way. That's all I got to say about that. And if it does happen, you're going to see it on social media. That's why I'm encouraging y'all to go follow. And if you don't have social media, that's why you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited. I can't wait. But we'll confirm in the next coming weeks. Hopefully by next month, you will see what's gonna happen. So there's that. Anticipation. I can't help it. So next week for sure, we're gonna be talking about the first episode of House of the Dragon. So definitely go watch it if you guys have not done so. I know some people are against it because it is a spin-off series. And people lost their motivation to watch anything Game of Thrones related all up until season 4 or 5, until the whole series got butchered. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to watch it. I already know how it's going to end. I did not read the books, but thanks to TikTok, I already know how the story's going to end. So there's that. And then, you know, there's a glimpse in Game of Thrones where they talk about, you know, House of the Dragon. So there's that. But I hope you guys did enjoy this episode, because you know I did. Yeah, especially that Hispanic Chisme. I will talk to you guys on the next one.